Another amazing weekend in the Mountain East Conference. We saw multiple upsets. We saw multiple players rise above the occasion and have such great performances as well. And also, a team picked up their first conference win as well. So we'll be joined by their head coach here in just 1 second. Hi, everybody. Welcome into episode 9 of MEC Roundup. I'm your host, Taylor Kennedy. You can find me on Twitter at Taylor_Kennedy7. That is Taylor_Kennedy7. So, and also you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube as well. So the trifecta, and here we go. It's a great episode. I'm happy for you all to be with us. And let's start here. I had mentioned it in the opening that a team in the Mountain East Conference picked up their first conference win, their second win this season. And we're joined by West Virginia Wesleyan men's head basketball coach, Coach Derek Sloan. Coach, welcome to the program.
Appreciate you having me, Taylor. Thanks a lot, man.
Now, I could be wrong, but you can correct me if I am wrong. I would assume you are on cloud 9, or you were on cloud 9 this past weekend.
Yeah, it felt good to really get that first conference win. So we definitely enjoyed that, and we hope that we can build off of it. Try to sort of keep that momentum going for the into the near future here. But the guys know and we know that it's a short turnaround before your next game. So you sort of got to, whether it's a win or a loss, got to get past it. And, you only got a few days to prepare for your next opponent. So we're ready and looking forward to the next one.
Let's talk about the preparation leading into that game against Glenville State. When you looked at that preparation, at those few days you guys were getting ready for the Pioneers, did you sense something different within your group?
Yeah, for sure. I think there was a sense of urgency amongst the guys, and I think that they really believed that they could come out here and compete. And they definitely showed that, and they just they put themselves in position with the previous few days of practice to be able to go out there and learn their tendencies. We knew how they wanted to play. We knew how we wanted to play and how we wanted to attack and how we wanted to guard. And we did a good job of going out and just executing the game plan.
So overall scheme, overall game plan, Glenville State is a tremendous player, and John Williams, who was recently tabbed as the co-player of the week this week in the Mountain East Conference. But when you looked at going up against a high-profile scorer like John Williams, what was your plan of attack in trying to slow him down and limit his shots and scoring?
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. You can never really, stop a player like that completely, but you just hope that you can slow him down. You sort of maybe take them out their rhythm a little bit. But it's a team effort. It's a team effort. You try to have one of your better defenders on them, but everybody knows that. When a player like him has the ball, it's all 5 guys have a responsibility and a job to do to try to make somebody else make a play. So I think we did a decent job of that.
Okay, so the game is going back and forth. It's going back and forth, pretty much throughout the whole game. It didn't really seem like a team had, felt comfortable. They didn't have cruise control on. And when you look at that game, was there at any point during that game that you sort of just in the back of your mind, you're just like, okay, we got something here. Let's keep it going. Let's not let our foot off the gas. Did you have that moment, or did everything just flow at just like it was like a well-oiled machine?
I think that was one of our more complete outings, honestly. And we talk about finishing strong and starting strong, and I think starting strong was a key. And so that's what we did. And once we did that, we knew we would be able to keep ourselves in a position to just, be able to make plays. And that's what it came down to, just, who can make plays and make shots. And, we had some guys really step up and make some big plays and make some big shots, make some on both ends, defensive plays and offensive. So that really gave us a good boost there.
The score at halftime was 50-47 in favor of Glenville State. You guys go into the half down 3. Was there anything specific that you said to your group of guys that sort of, riled them up and sort of got them going to get ready for that second half?
It was just one of our things that we've been preaching, try to play a complete game. You don't want to play a 20-minute game, a 30-minute game, or a 35-minute game. And, going against a caliber team like that, you got to play a complete game. You got to play a full 40 minutes, or in our case, 45 minutes. And so that was our goal. We wanted to come out in the second half with that same energy we came out with in the first half. And we did a good job of accomplishing that.
So you guys outscored them 40-37, and you guys go into overtime, obviously. When you looked at, your team's energy, I love talking about the team's energy, just regardless of the circumstance or the situation, whatever it may be. But I feel like a team's energy is always vital in regards to, one, being in a basketball game, but also, two, being able to stay consistent with that energy as well. When you looked at your team's energy, how would you grade that energy level compared to previous games?
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, it really was. And I think it started with, the guys that, went out there from the jump and, just competed, to the best of their ability from the beginning. And I also think we had great bench energy. They were really involved, and they were enthusiastic. They were up, they were cheering, and you could just hear them, you could feel them, and that just rubbed off on everybody. And they were really key to helping us sustain that for the whole game. Because without that, that's something that you got to have. Something that you got to have. You want everybody engaged. You want everybody being positive, uplifting. And so I think it was everybody that that was with us that day played a key role in that.
When you look at that last play, the last play that put you guys up one off a Hibbett layup, when you looked at that, is that the play that you guys drew up in practice and in the huddle, or was that just let your best scorer go out there and do what he does best?
Yeah, we drew something up in the huddle, and we wanted to have a few different options off of it, and when the first couple didn't work, that's what you want. You want that ball in the hands of your best players, and you got to trust that they'll be able to make something happen. And when he got the ball, we had all the faith and all the confidence in the world that he would be able to make a play. And so that's what he did. He stepped up big time, man. He really did. He plays with a lot of confidence. His teammates got a lot of confidence in him. So it was really no surprise that he was able to make that play.
We'll talk more about player personnel here in just a second, but I want to bring something up to you that you're probably aware of, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of, just of what the circumstances are down at Buchanan. But 14 of the 20 players on your roster are either redshirt freshmen or true freshmen that are playing, getting some minutes, getting into the game, starting, contributing, whatever it may be. They're doing it. When you look at what you're trying to mold at West Virginia Wesleyan, getting those young guys into the game, getting those guys reps as well, letting them learn from your older guys as well. What are you trying to mix up, or what are you trying to build down in Buchanan with that young group of guys, as I just mentioned? 14 true freshmen and redshirt freshmen on your roster this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a really good thing that we've got such a young group that works so hard, that work together. And the best thing about them is just their positive attitudes. When adversity hits them, they just keep going. They keep fighting, and it's a good experience. It's good for them to get this experience early on. And it really is. And we just want to have. It starts with great people being in your program. And then you can go from there. But once you have the right people, with the right mindset, with the right characters in place, then you can start to, it's nowhere but up from there. But, they've done a great job of just coming in and working hard and competing at their best, and I think that'll only make them better for the next 2, 3, maybe 4 years, however long, the process is for them as individuals. I think, that'll just make them that much better to get this experience early on. And they realize that we're a young group, and they're excited about the future as well. But it's a learning process. They're learning things for the first times. They're hearing things for the first time. So it's new to them, and they've done a great job of just trying to soak it all in and get better every day. Just improve day in and day out. So it's been real exciting to see. we're starting to see them, that hard work pay off. Just in our competitiveness and when we go out there and compete with other teams.
Okay, so let's turn our attention now to some players, because you have an interesting group, and I want to start with one of your true freshmen, Dante Gardner. I saw you guys play against West Virginia State down at Institute not so long ago, and it seemed like when you put him in the game, you could just tell that he was just ready to go before he even stepped on the court. Before he played 6 minutes in that game, he finished again with 5 points, made some terrific plays as well, finished 2 or 3 from the field. When you look at his game, I find his game very fascinating, just because, he's right around 6'1", and he's so quick. He's absolutely so quick. And he's averaged right around 9 points in the last 3 games. When you look at his game and his maturity as well, how have you seen that progress throughout this first season with the Bobcats?
Yeah, I mean, he's been great, and with him, it all starts in practice. He practices so hard, he works so hard. And he really has, he's one of those guys you look at, you could say they've gone from point A to point B just every day, a steady incline, just keep improving every day. They got great attitudes, and that's what he is. He's an energizer bunny when he gets out there. He just gives us that spark, and he plays within himself. He knows his role. He gets the ball. He's looking to attack. He's looking to get his teammates involved. He's got a high IQ that's just building and getting better every single day. He's been really great to have out there to just rally the guys and just displaying all of that with his energy and his focus, and just doing what he does. And he's quick as a cat. It really is that first step. It showed, I think, versus Glenville on Saturday too. And when we get in transition, he's going to the rim, and he's hard to stop. So he's been a bright spot for us for sure.
I think you could also concur with me with what I'm about to say as well, but you could also say that Anthony Craven as well has been a bright spot for you all as well, because it seems like whenever Hibbett or Braden Mcgrew are off to a slow start, you could always count on Anthony, just because he comes in, he just does all the little things and all the tangibles as well. It just gets the job done. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. He especially, on this latter part of the season, he really started to come on strong. And again, another guy that just knows his role and does what he can. He's going to attack hard. He can shoot it. But what we really love about him is his defensive prowess. He was on Williams for the majority of that Glenville State game, and he, like we say, you can never hope to stop a player like that, but he did a great job of slowing him down with his length and just competing every possession, taking no plays off. So he's been another bright spot for us, and something that we definitely hope to build off of for the future.
Another guy, I just mentioned him as well. That's Braden Mcgrew, because it seems like when you get him on the court, he's your floor general. He does all the little things as well. He controls the game. He doesn't let the game come to him. He lets the game come to him. Let me rephrase that. He doesn't go to the game. He lets the game come to him. When you look at his game, he's averaging right around 12 points this season. Got his first double-double against Glenville State this past weekend. When you look at his game, how much easier has your job gotten as a coach, because you have a leader and a voice like Braden?
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is. He's a guy that you can put the ball in his hands and trust that he knows what to do with it. He knows the situation of the game. He knows his teammates. He knows their abilities, and he's great at getting everybody involved. I think he had 11 assists this past weekend. And obviously he can shoot the ball himself too. So he's a dual threat out there. And when the ball's in his hands, he's sort of the engine that makes us go. So it's great to have not just a player like that, but a leader like that, where everybody can sort of feed off of, and that he gets them going, and once he gets himself going as well, that makes us a pretty a dangerous team right there.
And then lastly, in regards to player personnel, because you just have a lot of guys that are trying to piece everything together, and one of those guys is Jalen Hibbett. Even though he's your leading scorer, averaging 21 points per game, the one statistic that pops out to me is he's shooting right around 48% from the field. I mean, when you look at his game, he takes right around probably 15, 16 shots a game, but he makes a high percentage of those as well. When you look at his game and how well he's progressed throughout this season so far, what's the ceiling for him?
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential. He's playing great this year, and he's still got a lot of potential ahead of him to get even better. He knows where his bread is buttered. He knows where his success is. He gets to his spots. He takes great shots that he works on every single day. He's a gym rat, so it's no surprise that he's doing the things that he's doing. But he's got that's the exciting thing about him. He's got a really high ceiling. And again, just another redshirt freshman that's, just learning every day. And, he wants to get better. He just wants to get better. So it's been really exciting to see that.
And then lastly, and again, I appreciate you joining me because this has been a very insightful conversation. But my last question is this. You got your next game against Frostburg State, and you follow that up by Davis and Elkins as well. How important of a week is it for you all to not let your foot off the gas in regards to how successful you guys have been? You guys have been in a lot of games. It seems like a couple of close games as well, but you guys have that win over Glenville State. How important is it for you all to just continue to build off of that win and continue to finish your season on a high note?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, and, we definitely, like we said, definitely want to continue to build off of this past weekend. And we think we definitely have a chance to do that. The guys have, getting that first one, makes you a little bit more motivated as a player. It gives you that extra boost, gives you that extra spark, and, your confidence just goes soaring. So, we're at a point now where we just, we think we can go out there and compete with anybody, right? And, Wednesday, tomorrow versus Frostburg down there, it obviously won't be easy, but we're gonna go out there and try our best and put ourselves in a position to be successful and try to come out with a victory. So the guys they're feeling really good. They're feeling really good. They realize we played our potential, and just to keep going in the direction we've been going, that we can sort of get on a roll here and try to make some things happen.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Best of luck the rest of the way this season, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me, Taylor. Thanks a lot.
Not a problem. We are not slowing down here on episode 9 of MEC Roundup. We are pleased to be joined by West Liberty grad student, Audrey Tingle. Audrey, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, have you stayed warm during this, this cold front that came in from Winter Storm Izzy? I know a lot of people in North Central and Northern West Virginia have gotten hit by it, but is West Liberty okay?
Yeah, we're good on the hilltop. It hit us actually pretty hard, but they got the roads plowed and everything, so we're good to go. We actually had a 3-hour delay today for classes, so that was really nice.
You probably get to sleep in and everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Those are always the best. Well, thank you for joining me. We won't talk snow. I know people are probably thinking, are they going to talk about snow for the next few minutes? No, we're not going to be talking about snow. I'll probably bore myself more than anything else by doing so. So I'm not doing that. All right. No more snow talk. But Audrey was recently this week's MEC player of the week in the MEC. Let me rephrase that. Okay, here we go. Audrey recently earned MEC Player of the Week honors for her impressive week that she had this past week. She averaged 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists to help her team go 2-0 over Frostburg State and Fairmont State, which is a quality win because Fairmont State was number 2 in the women's side of the Mountain East Conference. But Audrey, let's start here. When you look at that game against not against Frostburg, that game against Fairmont, they're the second best team in the MEC in regards to standings. How important of a win was that for you all just to get back on track and try and climb back up into the top of the MEC standings?
Yeah, it was definitely an important win. We take each game like it's the last pretty much. We approach every team like it's the most important one that we need. And going into that game, Fairmont's kind of a rival for us anyways, so we were definitely excited for the opportunity that we had ahead. And we knew what was on the line for that game. So to get that one was huge for us. And it definitely showed the growth that we've had as a team and what we're really capable of going into the second half of the season.
You guys did a tremendous job of limiting Fairmont State's top scorer, Alyssa D'Angelo, only scoring 7 points in that game. In regards to preparation, I asked Coach Sloan about this from West Virginia Wesleyan in my last segment because they held John Williams in check. He got some points, but you guys did a great job of limiting Alyssa D'Angelo and what she wanted to do offensively, only scoring 7 points. What was the preparation and game plan like just to, one, take her away from what Fairmont State wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, she is a really good player, and we knew from our experiences with her last year that she definitely impacted the game against us, and we knew that we needed to limit her looks and the kind of shots that she was getting throughout the game in order to be successful. And I think that's what we did. We really locked down on her and made sure that any looks that she did get were hard for her and they didn't come easy.
When you look at that game, you know, again, beating the number 2 team in the conference, when you look at how well you performed, how would you grade your performance against the Falcons?
You know, I don't really look at my personal performance a lot. I like to just think as long as we get a win, that's all that matters. And in any way that I can contribute to helping the success of the team, that's the biggest part. So in that game, you know, it required me to step up and score some more points and do what I needed to do to help contribute to the team win. So in that respect, that's really all that matters.
Okay, so then let's flip the question around then. So instead of asking about you individually, how would you grade the team's performance against Fairmont State?
I was really proud of the way we played. That was actually our first game back with all of our starting 5, our original starting 5 since before Christmas break. And we actually played like we didn't miss a beat at all. We came out with a certain fire, and it was like we were ready to play again and have our whole team back together. So I think we came out with an edge to us, and you know, it demonstrated that we came out on top, which was really good.
Talk to me about this, because you mentioned how well you guys work together. What is it? What is that recipe for you all just to continue to gel together, mesh so well together, and just continue the success you guys have on, winning 2 straight now?
I think the biggest part is our chemistry, both on and off the court. If you go around West Lib, you see us walking around in groups a lot. We don't really leave each other's sides, which I think is really huge to our success on the court. It helps because we're able to, you know, tell each other what we need to change, and we're not afraid to confront each other in times of adversity. And when adversity does hit, we are quick to pick each other up and rely on each other during those times, which I think is what makes us really successful.
I said in the opening before I introduced you into this episode, but you're a graduate student with the Hilltoppers. What was your decision in coming back for that extra year, becoming a grad student, or even continuing and use your COVID year and still be considered a grad student as well? What was sort of your reasoning behind that?
You know, after last season, something in me just didn't feel complete, and I felt like there was more that I needed to achieve, not only in my basketball career, but also in academics. And I think this opportunity was the path that I was supposed to be on. And, you know, my parents and everyone keeps telling me to never grow up. So that was an opportunity, and I took it, and I'm really glad I did. You know, basketball has been a huge part of my life, and I'm not sure that I was ready to give it up just quite yet. So in that respect, I'm really thankful. And I think that, you know, this was the path that I was supposed to be on.
You're an honors student and you got a degree in speech pathology. What led you into going down that direction and getting a degree in that field?
So I originally thought I wanted to be a teacher. That's what my mom does right now. And she kind of directed me more into the speech therapy world, just because, you know, there's more opportunities within that realm. And so I went for it, tried it my freshman year, and I really just fell in love with it. So I just like the opportunities that it provides you with, and there's just so many different populations that you can work with in that field of choice. So that's why.
So what are you wanting to do with this degree then? Are you wanting to stay locally, or are you going to want to go back home, which is West Lafayette, Ohio? What are you wanting to do with this degree?
Right now I'm just kind of taking it day by day, but I do hope to stay either in the Ohio Valley area or around my hometown area. It's all about an hour difference. But I do think I want to work in the school system, so that way I can hopefully coach later on as well.
So when you look at this group of girls you are playing with in your final season with West Liberty, when people look at this roster from top to bottom, they see, who's leading in the most points, who leads in rebounds, assists, whatever it may be. But when you look at the team, who are a couple people that people aren't really saying enough about that has been contributing a lot so far this season?
I think I could say pretty much our whole team. There are games that, one person may contribute more than the other in terms of points, and it's easy for people to look at points. It's the top statistic that everyone cares about. But each person on this team has this grit and fight to them that I think really goes unnoticed sometimes. And I think that's the huge part. And for how young we are, I think our newbies, especially the freshmen, have really stepped up to fulfill some roles in our team that were needed to be filled. So it's kind of hard to even treat them like freshmen anymore, because they're doing what they need to do in order to step up and to contribute in any way that we need. And so I think just everyone is doing their job and handling their role in a way that helps us in being as successful as possible.
When you look at this group, what needs to happen for you all to, one, continue your success to end the season on a high note, but two, get back into the conference tournament and then be a high seed in that conference tournament? What needs to happen for that to be accomplished?
Yeah, that's actually something that we've been focusing on lately in the second half of the season. And I think the biggest thing right now is continuing to capitalize on our successes and mitigating the snowballs of mistakes that are occurring. At times in games, you see we make like the young mistakes, and I think it's just diminishing those and making sure that we really capitalize on our leads and maintaining them, and not settling in general, and just continuing to capitalize on certain situations. So.
And then finally, let's talk about your coach, Coach Kyle Cooper. He's in his 5th season with the program. How much of a help has he been going back to when COVID started to where you guys are at today?
Yeah, he's been a great help. It's actually funny. His head coaching career started my freshman year. So we've kind of been on this journey together in the last 5 years. And all I can say is he has done so much for me, both on and off the court. He's one of my biggest supporters, and especially throughout the COVID year, he has always been the first person there to help me in any situations, whether in times of adversity, stress, through the failures and the successes. He's always been there. And I think that's the biggest quality that I appreciate out of him the most, is his support and him always being there for us.
So that's pretty neat. That makes sense, because you started right around the same time that he did, as you said. That's just cool, just to go alongside each other, go through this, college experience together, being in a new area. So that's really cool. So was he the one that recruited you coming out of high school?
Yeah, so the prior head coach, our athletic director now, Coach Allum, he was the head coach originally, and he had recruited me throughout, but Coach Cooper was also a part of that. And I really got to know Coach Cooper a lot as well, because he was the assistant coach at the time. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's just end on this note then. So out of all the stories of Coach Cooper, what's your favorite one?
Gosh. I don't know if there's a story specifically, but I really enjoy the amount of times that we make fun of him for having to keep his hair like so prestige, and that's like he claims to be his like best quality trait. So we give him a pretty hard time for that.
Yeah, guys don't really like when their hair is messed up, so I understand that
No.
as well. I
He
understand.
has a special game day hair routine. So, yep.
Well, Audrey, thank you again for joining me. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and good luck the rest of the way this season.
Hey, thank you so much. I enjoyed my time.
Absolutely. That will conclude episode 9 of MEC Roundup with our 2 tremendous guests, Coach Derek Sloan from West Virginia Wesleyan and graduate student from West Liberty, Audrey Tingle as well. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Taylor_Kennedy7 for all the latest about this podcast and what else is going on in the Mountain East Conference. Also, go on our website at mountaineast.org where you can find all the latest statistics, standings, you name it, we got it. I promise you that. I sometimes get lost on there, quite frankly. But without further ado, again, this will conclude episode 9. And again, thank you all for listening and watching as well. And I'll catch you all next time on episode 10. Thank you all for listening and stay safe.